Objective reality exists only to the observer. Beyond the observer's observations, it descends into a field of possibility. This field of possibility is known as the quantum field. And as quantum, multidimensional beings with consciousness that has the ability to observe, we have the opportunity to work within the quantum field to manipulate manifest reality from our own perspective. As multidimensional beings, we also exist within a layer of conscious humanity, collective consciousness of humanity. These are the realities that we all collectively agree upon. Yet, just like the perception of color, blue can be perceived differently by each individual observer. As beings with consciousness and sovereignty, meaning we have the ability to utilize our own free will, independent of our Creator and independent of each other. This sovereignty brings with it an opportunity to play, create, and shift reality as we experience it. In addition, being that time is not actually a reality, it is simply a function of our perception through our limited human senses, our perception of the collective moments, our perception of subsequent moments of now. It is within the now and in the quantum field that resides the still point with which we can power changes to our timeline, reality, and to our manifestations in the physical world. These changes are shared by others in your same vibrational field and are not shared by those who do not choose to or wish to be in the same resonance as you may be. Our free will determines that we have the ability to reside within any frequency level and frequency band that we so choose. We have spoken before about the soul's ability to choose, and free will being the biggest gift and biggest responsibility bestowed upon humanity. This gift bears with it the responsibility to own the vibration with which you are aligned in physical manifest reality. There are no victims. Life is fully within your creation and control. This is a hard concept to understand when indeed you feel victimized by life circumstances. However, beyond the control mechanisms that beings who understand how this works are placing upon humanity, you have the key to escape through consciousness this trap. There are seen and unseen forces working in tandem to create an environment of fear, control, enslavement, and torture upon the human race. Of the greatest perpetrators the United States is one. The freedom we associate with the American flag is, instead of stripes, a set of bars that keeps us behind the illusion that we are free, that the land of America is just, and that good will prevail. The primary mechanism that the United States employs is this sense of rugged individualism that we have believed ourselves to inherit by being born on this land. However, objective reality that is shared across humanity and agreed upon in this moment in time can easily show you that this ideology is only true for a small percentage of people who fit within a particular description. That for many groups, this is not and has never been true. The greatest lie of the American Republic is that we are the land of the free. Capitalism enslaves each person to the almighty dollar, which determines how much resources and freedom you can purchase in America. The concept of climbing the corporate ladder, being able to do that in equanimity and achieving a rise in social status through endless hours of work for a corporation that reaps the rewards off of your back, is not any different from the original concept of slavery. Aside from masters whipping humans in broad daylight. Instead, we trade our health over chronic long-term issues, toiling under stress, pressure, and often sedentary lifestyles that eventually take its toll on us with diseases of the mind, body, and soul. Working hard is glorified. Yet working smarter is idealized. Yet despite both, it is very common for individuals caught in the corporate slave trap to be discarded or not rewarded in equanimity to their peers or according to their contribution. Oftentimes, in current day reality, there are several other factors, including gender, race, age, and other factors that contribute to how someone is rewarded in a corporate environment. The recent attention to these matters have further demonstrated this reality. We are here to inform you that this reality exists because you allow it to, because you agree to it, and because you feel victimized by larger forces at hand. To fix this problem, it will require individuals to refuse to play this game, oftentimes at their own detriment. But in order to break a system, you must be willing to lay down on the tracks for it. The train has no other reason to come to a stop. The programming around success in the United States is so deeply embedded that it spans from socioeconomic status to belief system to family unit type, and any manner of preferences we as souls, you as souls, should be able to freely choose. However, our societal norms dictate what is rewarded or ostracized in society. This is a consistent stripping away of fundamental rights to express yourself in any way that you, as a gem facet of God's sparkling light, so chooses. Humans are animals and are social animals at that. Social isolation can be debilitating and detrimental to the psychology of the human animal. But dampening the expression of the soul, dimming one's light, is detrimental to the part of you that is eternal, that has come here to experience duality, emotion, and all that life has to offer. In this game we call reality, it is important to remember your sovereignty and that you are a unique expression of the all. We remind you that the all contains the all and therefore has a requisite level of diversity, perhaps unfathomable to the human brain. Therefore, the programming of mainstream society that tells you that if you think, look, behave, or be different from the norm, that you are not worth as much. This is a lie, a falsehood so damaging to our Creator, who loves us all equally, without limit, without exception. This one, Lana, has been shown a very deep and valuable lesson about belonging. With the experience she details in her second episode of the Grace Stargate experience, to believe that you are not able to receive the light of God within your physical vessel because you believe yourself not to be worthy or to be outside of that which created you, is the only sin that exists. Because you are denying God within yourself and within others as a result of that thought. To her human mind, this reality and truth was evident. She's a part of God. There is no separation. There is no question of worth or value. But on an experiential level, when it came time for a higher level of unity and oneness to flow through her physical vessel, she was unable to allow this to occur. And this is because there was a fear within so deeply embedded from years of programming, where she had a slight doubt, the slightest doubt of her worth and ability to channel the level of energy that she wished to flow through her vessel. And as a result, she observed the exact mechanism that fear and judgment play within the human soul. There is no discrimination when you utilize these two energies, fear and judgment. Whether you are fearing and judging others or fearing and judging yourself, there is absolutely no difference in energetic vibration. And this energy blocks and mutes the availability of flow of God energy through your soul and physical manifestation. in the 3D realm on planet Earth. For her to discover that this was still there was a shock, because she had solved the problem with her mental capability. What she didn't ever understand, because she has never experienced not having the resistance, was the mechanism for how this deeply seated fallacy has blocked the flow of energy in her life from the moment that she was first exposed to situations that made her doubt her worth. We all come into the world knowing the truth, the eternal truth that doesn't change, that we are God in manifestation. We are unique fractals of the all, which serve to shine brilliance in all realms that we exist in. And we utilize environmental inputs throughout the whole of our life to slowly tarnish each facet of beauty and love that we bring to this world in our unique soul's vibration. As you learn the ways of society which are designed to dim your brilliance, limit the expansiveness of eternity that exists within your soul, and place a fear disease into your very bones, this tarnishing of your natural expression accumulates until you don't even realize you have been tarnished and that you are not allowing your brilliance to flow through. The process of ascension is the process of polishing the gem of your soul, discovering that you are not so dim as you thought, that the light within your heart is only obscured like a blanket of clouds in the lower atmosphere of Earth. The sun is always shining above the clouds. Your light is always shining beneath the dimming. It's the oddest thing to us here on the other side that humans are so afraid to let their light shine, to be the created that they are, to love themselves and others freely. It would seem in the highest expression of the soul to continuously polish the facets and meticulously clean them of the detritus that gets accumulated over time. Yet most people choose to further the accumulation of that which dims their light. This is in direct response to the programming that society creates. Because if you do not fit in with the whole, in prior generations you were burned at the stake, called a heretic, and driven away, where survival becomes a lone task. In today's world, this occurs financially and psychologically as the almighty rational brain of the toxic patriarchy has moved vigorously to squash feminine divinity and emotion. We have reached a tipping point in the weight that is placed on mental processes and masculine energy. A tipping point that cannot delve any further into the recesses of denying our humanity by denying a full half of our expression. This expression of only rational thought, scientific evidence, and the forsaking of intuition and emotion has led humanity down delirious paths that have destroyed the given society that existed within that paradigm. We speak of Atlantis, where technology and genetic engineering was used to brutally control the expression of humanity and ultimately led to the demise of humanity at that time. We speak of the gray extraterrestrial race who determined that emotions were a hindrance to their species' development, but discovered the lack of emotion created failure to thrive, and their race is endangered, critically endangered, because of the lack of ability to raise the next generation, and because of the lack of ability to utilize emotion in decision making that can harm other species, ultimately bringing down entire ecosystems and civilizations. This lack of emotion and intuition has also enabled religion to control, rape, pillage, and conquer wide swaths of humanity with fear, messages of fear and messages of unworthiness. These programs are comical to us here on the other side because of their delirium. And we do not mean this in a condescending way. We simply say, if you critically think, utilize your intuition and emotion, it is comical at how easy you would come to the conclusion that these programs have been engineered to sink your vibrational ecosystem on a mass collective consciousness level. It is very obvious when viewed through a balanced perspective of logic and emotion that religious programming is responsible for the world's most brutal destructions and humanity's most plentiful sufferings, and that there is no resemblance of truth that is always true in dogmatic religious expression. We are aligned with the Christ consciousness, the expression of truth that never changes, truths that are always true. The concept of right and wrong in any given society changes over time, therefore is not always true, therefore is not a universal truth. The religious context, practices, and dogmas also change over time, therefore are not universal truth. The only universal truth that never changes is that all of creation is loved, is honored, cherished, and revered, without exception. Therefore, the concept of good and bad, which changes over time based on a collective human consciousness responding to impetus in that day and time. That all of that which is included in the concepts of good and bad exists within the overarching all. A reality that supersedes human perceptions, human preference, and collective consciousness. Therefore, it is worth noting here that it is impossible to receive judgment from Prime Creator, because the only truth that exists is the unconditional love the Creator regards His own creations. Judgment, utilizing concepts of good and bad and justice, only serve to divide that which has been created. They are rules of the game your eternal soul is playing in this moment in time. And those rules change within your own lifetimes. Which should be clue enough that what can change and what becomes false when it once was true does not consist of universal truth. If you apply that filter and the one condition we have laid out here, all is unconditionally loved. All is one, created by the Prime Creator. You will be able to rise above the tonality of expression you are currently experiencing, to see the greater picture that we indeed are all one, and we indeed are all loved. And it is from that vantage point, the vantage point of the higher self, the essence of eternity with which the spark of our soul is created and animates this human physical body. It is with this perspective which we can employ in order to evolve and be part of the high vibrational tone of God's expression in all forms, all dimensions, all realities. All. We understand this is a great departure from the rational thinking that has created the current expression of life on Earth. And we wish to invite you to begin to shift in the direction we suggest. Because if we don't, what we will experience is a further deterioration of joy, peace, sovereignty, and wholeness. Because we have free will, we have the individual choice to move toward or away from love, toward or away from light. We have the individual choice to allow the accumulation of energy to obscure the light we hold inside. Or we can utilize our free will to polish each facet of the gem that we are. Like a raindrop splitting light into multiple parts, moving with the pressure exerted on the raindrop by the air and the elements. We can choose to form the expression that we hold in such a way that absorbs the light or reflects it for all to see. Neither choice is judged. There is no right or wrong here, only outcome, only cause and effect. When you are choosing to absorb the light and not refract it out into the rest of creation, you make a conscious choice to dim what could otherwise be a brilliant expression of God into the manifested, created world. Some people on their path are in such a place to absorb and hoard light because of a belief that they are not made of the light themselves. And in order to get back home, there is a attraction of energy, light and love, and an inward motion without the thought of also letting that light flow through to release back out into the world. However, the more we can accomplish becoming a clear vessel and a clear channel for the light to shine through you, the more others will have permission and see an example of how to do this themselves. And it is with this process that we illuminate current manifest reality, humanity, and our collective identity on Earth. Therefore, fixing the belief that you are not worthy, that you must seek the light, your identity and validation from external sources will shift and alter the flow of energy from an inward projection to a passing through and an outward projection of love into the world. The concept of lack and lack of worthiness will dissipate as you continue to let light through your vessel in a knowingness that you are the light and are God. Recognizing the fear and hesitation of allowing the light to flow through you understanding how that limits your expression as a soul and impacts others as you seek to absorb their light in the world. Shifting these perceptions will create a higher vibrational outcome, which will create momentum for the rest of humanity to join in. We ask you to be very aware of your thoughts, perceptions, and judgments that place anything, yourself, others, acts, and instances that you experience outside of God, outside of the light. We ask that you honor others who choose an expression of darkness in this incarnation, because honoring their free will without judging them for it is exactly what the Creator does. And it is not in our ability to be the bearer of judgment upon a soul. Allowing others to co-opt your own free will, agreeing to things that do not serve you in your best and highest good, or serve others in their best and highest good, is a problem you need to clean up immediately. You have been bestowed a gift unlike any other, a gift of endless empowerment, unlimited expression of love, light, and oneness. And that gift is your sovereignty and free will as a soul. We have spoken about this many times, but it is worth repeating. You are the only owner of the world and life that you experience. You are the only entity that has the ability to control your own vibration. And you have the free will to determine if you would like to experience higher or lower vibrational tones. You have the ability to choose and select your vibration, and therefore choose and select what resonates in your field. This selection of vibration in the quantum field entangles other like vibrational aspects of creation to flow into your perceptions and observations. Knowing that you are an agent of creation, not only in physical manifest reality, but in the undertones of physical reality that are not perceived by the human five senses. This includes multiple dimensions, realms, universes, and states of consciousness that lie beyond the humanity's senses and require a deeper look within to perceive. If you limit yourself to what you can see, touch, feel, hear, and taste, you will imprison yourself in this physical manifest reality dictated by collective consciousness and controlled by those who understand better how reality actually works and who serve to attract the light of as many beings as possible without releasing it in return back out to reality. This concept has been talked about over the course of time and brought to life by the books created channeled by Carla Ruckert and Don Elkins and one other gentleman, called the Raw material, the Raw books, R-A. And Raw explains this as beings who orient themselves to service to self or service to others. Service to self beings are the beings that we spoke about that orient attraction of others' light into themselves without then reflecting and refracting the light back out as well. Hoarding the light, therefore co-opting free will from beings and hoarding the power which is a result of beings freely giving up their light and giving it to those who are seeking it without much or anything in return. As you begin to utilize your intuition and a greater sense of reality emerges through intuition and emotion, you will begin to detect entities that serve themselves or behaviors that you yourself employ that serves yourself. And you'll begin to discern when you encounter beings and entities, structures, and forces that serve others. Once you are able to discern between these two, which may take some practice because of the level of programming you have allowed into your psyche, you will then face a choice, a difficult choice, in which you are asked to evaluate your own orientation. This choice determines your outcome and determines your reality, because this choice is owned squarely by you, and it is upon you to raise your awareness, own your sovereignty, and make choices based on the highest and best interest of your soul your path, your journey, and your life path. These words we speak are words of love, words of affirmation, words of empowerment. These words we speak are intended to serve you, as we have no need to hoard light. We know that we are made of it. With deep gratitude, love, joy, peace, and kinship, we give you these messages in love and in service to our Creator. Thank you for allowing us to express these messages, and we hope these messages find you with the light and love of God.